Que pasa, mundo? You saw what I did there? My name is Jose. Welcome to another episode of Coast to Coast.
And I'm Darian.
And today we have two very special guests, the first time in Coast to Coast history. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Jasmine Beverly. My Instagram is IamJasmine_Simone.
I'm Brandon Catron. My Instagram is Brandon_Catron, Catron. I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me on.
Hold on. You guys both said Catron. What is Catron?
What is Catron?
Oh, they didn't both say Catron.
Oh, yeah, did it? Oh, okay. What? Okay, my fault.
I think it's those headphones.
Yeah, that's right. It's a little too tight. Hey, well, thank you so much for joining the show. I appreciate you taking the time to talk a little bit about yourselves and what y'all do for a living. Let's start asking some serious questions. Go ahead, Darian.
Oh, okay. We'll start with the serious. All right, that's fine. So I'll start with Brandon. What are the different types of life insurance?
That's a great question. There are a couple different types of life insurance. There's term insurance, and then there's permanent insurance. So term insurance, I like to say, is kind of like renting a house, right? So you pay your monthly premium every month, and then at the end of that rental, that's it. You kind of go to the next house, or let's say you want to buy or whatever, and that's kind of it. So that's the same thing with term insurance. You pay your monthly on it, and then after whatever that window is, let's say it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, your insurance is kind of gone by then, right? It's because your term is up. And then permanent insurance, it lasts as long as you do. So the moment you lock in that permanent coverage today, it lasts all the way up until you pass away. So those are kind of like the basics. Like we can go into the nitty gritty, but just to kind of give you a broad scope of kind of the different types.
Okay, cool.
Jasmine, which one do you sell?
I only sell term insurance. Yeah, because typically he's right on the fact that it is for a period of time, but overall you get to at least basically rent wealth at a very discounted price compared to other different types of life insurances that are out there in the market.
Is there like a preference as to why you chose that one?
Yeah, mainly because you get to basically get more coverage for less money. And what the company that I represent, what we help to market is, between 20, 30-year terms. So you get, it's for a period of time, but at least it's a longer stretch of time as opposed to like 5 years, 10 years and stuff like that. When a person might be up in age, maybe in their 60s, 70s, that might be something that they have to take on because of their age. But an average adult, in their 40s, 30s, 20s, they can still qualify for a 30-year term.
Yeah. Brandon, which one do you sell?
I sell all of them.
All of them. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I enjoy doing both, right? Because you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You want a term policy, we can get a term policy. If you're a little older and maybe you can't qualify for a term, or you want something for the rest of your life, you can get a permanent as well. So I enjoy being able to pick whichever one's best fit your need.
Okay.
Sorry, my fault. You go.
Okay, I was gonna say, so for me, like if I wanted to get life insurance, I would probably go with permanent then, because I don't know. What would you recommend for me? I'm 25. What else do you need to know?
Well, with me, at least, it's just based off of age and potentially health, depending on how much coverage it is that you're trying to get. But when I sit down with people, I first find out what their need for the life insurance is first, and then go based off of what it is that they can possibly afford. And then overall help them actually with a complete program with getting life insurance, and then speaking with another one of my representatives to helping them have investments alongside with that, because that's why we help to explain to people to get term life insurance, because our goal with our clients is to help them to actually have money set aside for retirement goals. Most of the time people think about having, a whole life policy because they don't know what they're actually going to have later on in life when they are much, much older, but we help people with a complete package.
Okay.
Hey, this is a question for both of y'all. Why do you think, in my opinion, I think life insurance is super necessary, right? but why do you think we're not learning more about this, especially in the urban community, right? Because my parents never taught me life insurance. You know what I'm saying? School wasn't telling me about no life insurance. Why aren't we learning more about life insurance?
I think it's mainly because it's something, like you said, like it's not being talked about. There's a lot of other different communities that make sure that these types of things are in place for their families. And unfortunately, in the, Black and brown community, that might be something that's overlooked. But it's definitely something that's very important to talk about and to implement, most importantly, because a lot of us obviously are working very hard to provide for our families, and life insurance allows you the ability to continue that legacy with the foundation of money set aside, that when the person passes away, mom can still keep the house if dad died or something like that.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Brandon?
Completely agree. I mean, I think, especially in Black and brown communities, money is just not a thing you speak about. Like, you don't have those kind of conversations at the dinner table, right? Like, I wasn't asking my dad, like, hey, how's work? How are finances, right? But I was trying, I talked to my wife about, it's like introducing like little tidbits. It's not always about like, we make this amount, we can afford this. It's more like, what are we doing to kind of get ahead? What are we doing to make sure we're protecting ourselves? What are we doing to make sure that we're planning for it? So I think life insurance is also, it can get complicated, honestly.
Yeah.
If you're not taught it, if you don't fully understand it, you don't want to talk about it too much. Like kind of like what you said earlier, Darian, like I had no idea either, kind of like the meaning of it outside of, oh, if you pass away, someone gets money, right? I think it's really about, fully figuring out what it is and then explaining it, enough to where that it makes sense. But also I think just talking about finances in our community is a huge thing that we don't do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Hey, Brandon, you said people don't like to talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think people are so hesitant to get life insurance?
I mean, it's a mixture. I think especially younger people look at it as like, okay, well, if I pass away, so what? Like, I don't have any debt. I don't have any kids. I don't have any family. Like, what does it matter? Right. And I think a lot of older people I've talked to, like they get into policies they don't really understand. And then, something happens. They're like, oh, I thought I was getting this amount, or, oh, my grandma passed away and she was supposed to get this amount. So, they kind of feel a little jaded. So I think it's a mixture of younger people just kind of blowing it off like it's not a big deal. And then older people, maybe they've had experiences in the past where they just don't feel like, what, this was worth it. And it kind of, made them feel like, I'm good. I'd rather just save money on my own. And then if something happens to me, here you go.
Yeah. Can you only sell life insurance in your state? I don't know how
you have to be licensed in whatever state that you're trying to sell.
Got it. Okay. I was talking to Jose about this the other day and I was like, but can I buy from both of them? And he's like, no, it has to be from your state.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm licensed currently in New York, Virginia. I'm working on an Indiana license as well, and Maryland. So it all depends on the person. And like, you can't, it's not that you can only be licensed in one state, but you have to pay the fee in order to be licensed in multiple different states.
Yeah.
Do you have to take like is there like an exam that you take to be licensed?
Yes.
Just once though.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah, like she said, whatever state you want to be licensed in, you just pay the fee and then get licensed. Like I'm licensed in Nevada, California, Washington. So my goal is to get licensed in every Western state and then eventually move myself over.
That's cool.
So why get into life insurance as an agent to begin with? What was that point in your life where you were like, you know what, I'm gonna sign up for Aflac or Liberty Mutual? Why? Tell us.
Well, I don't represent either one of the companies that you named, but the reason being that I decided to get involved is because look at what's going on right now. Like people are thinking about making sure that their family is protected. So you can basically assess that to say it's a recession-proof business. A lot of different things are closing down and no longer going to be around once, we look back up to what's going on because of COVID-19. But at the end of the day, people are concerned about their life insurance plans that they have and thinking about how many people lost their jobs. If they only had job life insurance, they're screwed. They no longer have that coverage anymore because it doesn't go along with the person. That was a company provided plan. So us being able to help people out in the areas of life insurance is giving, us an ability to be recession proof. Basically, everybody needs what we have. People die every day, unfortunately, but it's the case. Like, everybody's going to die. So the life insurance industry is an industry that's never going to go out of style, because you want to make sure you provide for your family.
Yeah. You just said something that's so crucial. You said, look at where we are right now. We're definitely living in different times. And you, Jasmine, you touched on a lot of good points as to why get life insurance. But Brandon, continue to talk about why right now is a good time to get life insurance, on top of the points you just made.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely like what she said, there's just so much craziness going on. You're just so much uncertainty. Like, you never want to know that, you could have done something. You could have got that policy. You could have got more coverage. Maybe you have coverage. Maybe, like she mentioned, you have coverage through work. Maybe you kept your job, but, maybe you only had a little bit of coverage. You never want to look back and say, you know what, I could have got more coverage. Is this the right amount for me and my family? But I think in general, this has taught us that it's just so much more, that us as Americans need to think about. So much more of, like, putting money away, so much more about budgeting, saving, having those hard conversations at the dinner table. Because, 25, percent, well, here in Nevada, 25% of us are unemployed, right? We're fighting, trying to get unemployment just so we can, make rent the next month. Like, that's crazy, right? But it's like those little things that we don't think about, like having the 3 to 6 months of the 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting in the bank for times like this. You know what I mean? Like, but we weren't ready for it. Most people just aren't. We just have just enough to scrape by. But to me, this has taught me that you just never know what can happen. Like, you should never be at this point in your life to where you just kind of roll the dice and see what happens. Like, no, especially if you have a family, you have kids, like, you always need to be prepared.
You should never gamble. Gambling is terrible.
Even in Las Vegas, gambling's terrible. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
gamble, your real life, because this time has just taught me so much to, make sure you're playing ahead, make sure you're okay with where you're at, but also, again, having those hard conversations to make sure, what, we're financially set. We're okay if a pandemic hits. We're okay if, mom passes away, she left enough money behind, to pay the bills, pay off the house, to, keep going, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
I'm still not ready.
Still not.
I wake up like, is this a dream?
Right.
Yeah.
A nightmare, I should say. Hey, so I'm gonna ask you this as a salesperson, because I sell all my life. I've sold all my life. You could name it, right? I've sold it. How do you guys handle rejection? Because I know people are not trying to hear about life insurance right now. How do you handle rejection?
Brandon, you can start. Okay.
I mean, I like to handle rejection by, whatever you said. So, hey, I can't afford it. That's great. I definitely understand, times are crazy, but, is this something that you really need? Like, let's talk about it. Is this something that's important to you? If it's not something that's important to you, then why are we having this conversation, right? But if it is something that's important to you, then we got to find, right, that wiggle room, right? Is it cutting back on coffee? Like, I have a friend who goes to Starbucks every day, right? That's essentially 60 to 90, hundreds of dollars, every single month, right? You don't have insurance coverage, but you can go get coffee every day. Like, I guess it really depends on the person, but to me, it's like just hitting that nail on the head right away. Like, whatever that excuse is, like, just, okay, acknowledging it, and then kind of pivoting and showing, like, hey, I get it. You don't have time. I understand, right? We all have time, right? 24/7. I'm open, whatever that looks like. We can meet on the weekends, like, whatever, I guess we like to say the pushback is, just kind of acknowledge it and then go from there.
Is that how you feel, Jasmine?
Pretty much. Whenever there's a challenge that somebody might come to me with, whether it be a financial reason or a timing issue or anything like that, first, I always like to acknowledge what the reason is, like you said. And ultimately, especially if somebody doesn't have anything and say they have a family, they have kids, like, obviously your children are something, are people that you care very deeply about. God forbid if something happens to you tomorrow, what's going to happen to them? Who are they going to go to? So even if what it is that I've initially talked to them about may be something that they can't afford at that time, I still work with the people that I'm talking to and finding a program that fits best in their budget. So yeah, you might need to have $500,000 of coverage, but that might be a little bit too pricey for your pockets right now. Well, let's start off with $100,000 of coverage. And at least now you have something that, God forbid, if something happens to you tomorrow, your family will receive something, as opposed to not having anything because you don't have any life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys handle rejection very well, because I'd be sitting there crying, like, dang, okay. You don't want to buy it, fine.
No, you honestly, you get over it after like the first couple times, like it hurts, like dang. But then like if you're in this business, my partner who's been around doing this for 25 years, he's like, if you're in this business long enough, like rejections, they just kind of fall off the wayside.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
That's why I couldn't, no, I just can't. I can't sell anything. I'm the worst. I'd be like, do you want it? No? Okay, that's fine.
And so,
wait. I have a good question.
yeah.
So, what do you find the most enjoyable about your job? And then what do you find like the least enjoyable? That's for both of you. So whoever wants.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
Okay, well, I enjoy the fact that it's flexible, and especially with everything that's going on right now, at least I can work from home. Like having that opportunity to not have to go inside of an office or anything like that, but still be able to help protect people and protect their families is a blessing.
Yeah.
And so what? Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead, Brandon.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, the most enjoyable part for me is like that flexibility. I enjoy helping people. Like I always like to tell a story of like my boss. He kind of the way he hooked me in was like he told me a story. Is the first death benefit that he had to give was to a trucker who had just finished filling out his insurance policy. Like he was kind of iffy on giving money at the time. He was like, I don't really have it, blah, 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 whatever. So he eventually did. And then that next week he passed away. So he always likes to talk about how, if he wouldn't have given me that money up front, he wouldn't have been protected and I wouldn't have been able to give his family that check, right? That, that insurance check. So to me, like that kind of resonated because, I'm sure Jasmine as well, like, we're in this business long enough, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be giving out those checks. We're going to be, knocking on the door and delivering, with whatever's going on, that bad news, but we're here, we're being like that angel, like that light to say, you know what, I know everything's going on, but hey, Jose wanted to make sure you were taken care of. Darian wanted to make sure you were taken care of, everything that's going on. This is something, that can at least, keep things going. Right. So for me, I enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
So, is there anything
would you say that
never mind.
Helping people, is what motivates y'all to sell?
Yeah, I'll definitely say that.
You could say that, yeah.
What else motivates y'all?
Well, the money is good. I mean, I was trying to avoid it, but it's the truth. Like, you get paid very well to do what it is that we do. So, and then you do it on your terms. I could be sitting down with somebody from a totally different state right now, getting them a policy at whatever time is convenient for them and myself. So it doesn't have to, I don't have to wait to get, paid 2 weeks from now, like another corporate job or something like that. Like I can get paid in a very, very reasonable amount of time. And the check that will be cut is very, very substantial.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like what motivates me is making sure, I get to spend time with my family. So kind of like Jasmine said, like having that flexibility. So I know though, if I'm not working hard, I'm not eating, right? And if I'm not eating, my family's not eating. So just making sure I'm grinding to, come home Friday, Saturday, whatever that is, to know that I worked hard throughout the week, we can be okay.
Yeah. Do you get bored?
Oh, it's a people business.
Yeah, that's true.
No, if you don't get bored, I feel, because I know with teaching, there's some parts of the day where I'm like, dang, I'm bored. Like there's nothing to do right now. Like when I'm on prep, I'm like, who can I go bother? Like what teacher can I go bother? Because there's nothing to do, but there's no time where you're like bored, I guess. No, just me. Okay.
Jasmine said it. Go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a people business. So, I mean,
so
every person.
It's a whole bunch of different personalities, So
everyone has so many different things they need, so many different things they want. Like it keeps you going.
Exactly.
That's good. I'm glad you guys don't get bored like I do sometimes.
Is there a time where you were like, why did I just call this person? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
not really. Because I think that even if it's an awkward conversation that happens, at least it's somebody, like, especially if it's somebody that I know that I wanted to talk to in the past, but never got an opportunity to. And then I brought it back up and maybe still timing isn't right for them.
Mm-hmm.
At least I could check it off my box as like, I attempted to talk to you. It wasn't on me, and then I can keep moving on. It helps you have a clear conscience if God forbid you hear bad news that you tried your best.
Yeah, I think honestly, like after like the first couple weeks, like you kind of get used to it, right? And like the first couple weeks, it's a little awkward, you don't know what you want to say, how you want to like position yourself. But after that, like it's just kind of natural. I mean, and then I guess in my head, I expected, people to be more rude, like, leave me alone, stop calling me. But I've honestly yet to get like one really rude person. Like even if someone says no, it's pretty respectful.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about too much what's going on right now, but most people are really just kind of like, I'm okay, thank you though. But it's all calls are fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about or promote? This is what this platform is for, is to give you guys time to speak about what you guys got going on. Talk to us. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I'm also looking for people who are interested in learning about ways of making extra money from home. So if anybody out there is looking for a way, please reach out to me. My Instagram, once again, is IamJasmine_Simone.
Cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, for me, it's just, putting life insurance to the wayside or whatever. To me, it's just having that conversation. It's just figuring out like where you are and just having a plan in hand. Like you can start wherever. You don't have to have a lot of money to put money away. You don't have to be at a certain point in your profession. Like to me, looking at where you are today, are you okay with where you are? Are you set up financially for the future? Are you thinking of retirement? Are you thinking of life after work? Are you thinking of, maybe you have kids? Have you started talking about, college planning? Have you started talking about like real investing? Do you have all, those, we like to say financial checklists? Do you have everything checked off? So for me, insurance is important, but there's so many aspects of financial planning that, gets kind of pushed to the wayside. So like, let's sit down, let's talk, let's set out a plan for you, so you can get ahead. So short-term, long-term, whatever that looks like. So in all aspects of financial planning, you're set up, you're taken care of.
And Brandon, where can people find you at?
So they can find me on Instagram, Brandon_Catron. They can find me on Facebook, Brandon Catron. I'm an agent with New York Life. So you can find me on my website, www.newyorklife.com/agent/BCatron. So you can email me as well. I mean, I like to say I'm all over, but LinkedIn as well. So.
And just to clarify, Catron is your last name.
Catron is my last name.
No doubt.
Catron is my last name.
So here's the question that I wanted to ask you, Brandon, is do you also have a Gmail? Because like when you sent me your email to set this up, you sent me a Yahoo account. I didn't even know people still use Yahoo. So
you know what? I do have a Gmail. I've had that Yahoo for so long. I just kind of use it. It's just kind of ingrained in your brain.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I was just laughing at that. I was like, the only person that I know that has a Yahoo is my husband, who doesn't know anything about computers or technology, or is just like, he types like this. Like, so I just thought I'd ask if you also had a Gmail, because
I do.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if I would have had like an AOL, then I feel like you can press me. But I mean, a Yahoo's not too bad. I do have a friend.
I was gonna ask if you also had. What did you say yesterday, Jose? An account. What's your?
It was like baby lover at IM AOL or something like you. Back in the day.
Name.com. Oh yeah.
Back in the day, you used to rush out of school to go in and hook up, online or whatever. Mine was like Latin lover at AOL, something like that. I don't remember.
AIM was great. I loved AIM. Yeah, you run home from school, be like, all right, who messaged me? Who messaged me?
Yeah. And I used to put the away message to act important.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really sitting next to my computer. I just wanted to see message me.
I'm not just sitting there on my computer all day. I'm away. I'll be back. Leave me some messages while I'm getting.
Yeah. I no doubt.
Oh,
Well,
I also wanted to mention before we go that I do also help people out with the full complete package for financial goals as well. Like he mentioned, I also do the same. So with retirement goals, college savings accounts, other goals and dreams and, emergency funds and things of that nature, setting up wills and stuff like that. I am definitely a person to talk to is for those types of things as well. And my actual company webpage is linked on my Instagram.
Okay, cool.
no doubt. Well, thank you everybody for taking the time to join us. People, if they're listening, reach out to Brandon, reach out to Jasmine to find out more information. Darian, take it out of here.
Okay, first I'm going to point out that no, me and Brandon did not plan on wearing the same glasses. I just noted that right now.
Are you sure? I thought we talked about it now.
But thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Coast to Coast.